Hello everybody, welcome back to Shay's Hobby Dog Bay. This is another booktube video. Today's Thursday. I know it's August, I know it's 2018. I can't remember the date, I'm not on my laptop, but I'm here on my phone, so the date's the 23rd. Alright, hang on, my nose is tickling. Sorry about that, I had to sneeze. But then stopped it, I guess. Alright, it is 3:10 p.m. in the afternoon time. Okay, so the Friendship Bread book that I finished, I told y'all there was an excerpt in the back of it about her next book, Darian G, however you say her name. Anyway, so I read it, and it is in line with that. It's the same town, some of the same people, but there is new people in there. It is about scrapbooking, and so it sounds good. I would like to read it. The only thing is searching it on my phone for free. I ain't gonna be able to get it free. I'd have to pay for it, so I may have to either try to buy it later when I can get the money, which really never happens. Another story, but anyway, go to the library and see if they have it or can order it for me or something. But with me getting books every month from the library to do the book club, and then what books I have here to read, and as slow as I am, don't read as much as I used to, just a few chapters every night before I go to bed, if that even. I don't know, it may take me a while before I can do that, and then by then I'll be forgot about it, unless I write it down. But it was a good book. So now that I have done that and completely through with that book, remember I told you I had a book on my phone that I was reading on. So last night I got started, because yesterday I had read that. Well, last night I did that and finished it. So then when I went to my bed, I pulled that book up, and I was right there. To be honest with you, I didn't realize I was so close to the end of that book being finished with it. But I only had like 2 chapters, and you know, on here the chapters on a phone in a book is really, really short. Seems like to me anyway. But anyways, so I read it and finished it, and it turned out to be a good book. So let me pull up my iBooks here on my phone. Now I've deleted it out of my section of books because I'm through reading it, don't need to keep it in there. But I have already went ahead and searched for another book to read. So I am going to go to the list, because that will be in the list, but it'll show that I've done read it. I had to pull it back up. Free Cozy Mystery, because it don't stay in there. I don't know why it won't stay in there, that list, you know. Alright, let me go to the one that I was reading right here. Marigolds and Murder, right there. So, by London Lovett. So what this book was about that I know I read it to y'all the other day in a video, but what it was really about was, you know, this, and I forget her name now, Lacey Pink. Everybody calls her Pink, though. That's her nickname, Lacey Pink Pinkerton, and her last name's Pinkerton. That may be why they nicknamed her Pink. She moved to this small town and started up a flower shop. And you know, I told y'all there was a shop on each side of her. One was a tea shop, I think, where you sit and eat tea, and one was a bakery where you bake and have scones and stuff. And I can't remember who had what, but they were older. They were an older couple, like a gray-headed old couple. They weren't a couple, they were brother and sister. They were twins. And one had their shop on one side of her. I think the man had it on the left side of her. You know, you're facing out at the street. The man was over here, the lady was over here. And the girl with the flower shop was in the middle. Well, they was kind of playfully, well, it kind of got serious. I say playfully, it got serious. They argued back and forth about their shops and who had more business and blah, blah, blah. And she was trying to go back and forth with them. Really and truly, that had nothing to do, to me, much with the mystery, you know, the main part of the book at all. um, except for in the beginning, when they were, searching for the murder and all, she kind of would get suspicious at the way they were acting and arguing with each other. Did one of them kill the person? Okay, so there was these other two old ladies, and they lived side by side. And every year, I guess during fall time, Halloween time, whatever, it never did really just say Halloween. I don't even remember it saying fall. But anyway, the town would have this. Hang on, I have to yawn. The town would have this pumpkin contest on who could grow the biggest, prettiest pumpkin. So these two old ladies, I think other people did it, although it didn't really mention them as much, but these two old ladies always did it. Now, they lived beside each other, and they were friends, but they always did it, okay? Grew a pumpkin. And for years and years now, one or the other of them would win the contest and have the biggest, prettiest pumpkin. Now, it wouldn't go back and forth each year, I don't think. They never did really say. But because they didn't say that it was back and forth each year, I'm assuming that it wasn't, 1 year one lady won, the next year the other lady won, the next year the other lady won, the next year the other lady won. That would insinuate that somehow it was set up and they were deliberately alternating them and letting both win, They didn't say nothing like that, so I'm assuming that wasn't the case. That it was, maybe a year or two together, one lady would win, and maybe the next year the other lady win, and she might do it 2 years or so forth, or just 1 year, and then they'd go back to the other one, scattered like. So they would compete, and they would get serious. Even though they was friends, they would get serious, they would argue, and stuff like this. Well, let's see, their names were, one was Beverly. She was the house on the right. Now, this is facing the houses from the road. The left house was Virginia. Okay, so Beverly is the one that ended up getting killed. They found her laying in her, and it was, actually it was the mail lady. She was delivering the mail, but the lady, Lacey, Pink, was riding her bicycle, and she had passed earlier. Remember, she's new in town and just learning everything. So earlier, she had passed, like going to work, she had passed a sign that said, I think it was tomatoes to pick. And she wanted some tomatoes, so she had told herself, to remember in her mind that after work, she would stop by there and get her some tomatoes. Well, it was close to these ladies' house. She had to pass these ladies' house. So she was riding her bike to go get the tomatoes, and she seen the mail lady, and the mail lady was stopped on the side of the road, and she was just a-boo-hooing and crying. So Lacey, Pink, goes to check about her and see what's wrong, And come to find out, the mail lady had found Beverly dead in her yard, like she had fell down, and her head had went into her pumpkin and had smushed the pumpkin. Okay, so they called, emergency and all that, and the cops came out, and then they was doing all this detective work. And remember, Lacey, Pink, sorry, my nose is itching, has this very sensitive nose. She can smell big time, and she's good at it. She was born with this. It's actually a thing you're diagnosed with, that rare people have it. It's rare for someone to have it. But once you learn, now when she was younger, she had problems. She'd smell everything together, and it was and made her sick, and she couldn't eat, and all this kind of stuff. She had to learn how to control her nose and her smelling, and once she did, she can actually sniff out, and she says, that's that. Even like grass, okay, mowed grass, soil, she smells these things, and they're distinct, and she knows what they are, Okay, so that helped her. But of course, as in all cozy murder mystery books, the police and the amateur detective that's involved argues, he don't want her trying to search and help solve the you know, the murder, and she wants to, and she's sneaking and doing things. But in the end, when he learns about her nose and she explains the nose and he sees how good she is at this in the searching part, he trusts her nose. So then he starts calling upon her to help him with her nose and the smelling and solving the murder. Alright, she, of course, now this one, some of them are kind of romance with it. They end up liking the cop or some other fine, good-looking dude, you know, they talk about in the book. Well, she was liking the cop and thought he was cute and fun. There was a guy that lived by her, named Dash, that she also thought was cute and everything. But at one time she was suspicious of him. And so anyway, in the end, you know, they never let her get with either one of them. Okay, in the end, so it's not that romance style. Some of them they do, kind of like get with them and start going with that person or whatever. But anyway. So the cop calls on her to help him and all this kind of stuff. Okay, well, ended up, oh, she also had a good friend, Lily, I think was her name. She was across the road. Remember, it's a small town. That was on Main Street. There was like a square, what you'd call a square. She was across the square, and she had a shop there. I can't remember now what type of shop it was. But anyway, she would go, Pink would go across and see her, and then they'd go have lunch together and blah, blah, blah. And there was a little cafe. Frankie, the waitress, worked there, and, you know, they had to go in there. There was something about the ketchup, and there was a stain. Come to find out, that restaurant made up their own ketchup, so there was a stain on Beverly's shirt of ketchup, and it was from there, because once they tested it and all. Well, come to find out, this one guy, and he's an older guy, and I'm seeing him as old and bald-headed. The town next to Avalon is where he lives and works, but he comes there and eats in that place because he travels and gets equipment and stuff for his business, and he'll stop there and eat because he loves to eat there, and he uses their ketchup and he gets stains on him a lot. So anyway, what it is, his shop is like a feed shop store, he has seeds and he has soil, garden type place, but he also has these big, like garden tractors, the big machine hoe things, and the big things you can pick something up and transfer it some big something, because Beverly would actually rent it at times to pick up her big pumpkins and have them moved and all. And so that's what he done. Well, he was in, I don't understand this part fully, and most of that is because I quit reading the book for a long space of time and then went back to it, and it was right at the end, just a couple of chapters, and I just didn't quite comprehend that part. But something about he had some contract going with his business on some seeds he was doing or something, and he needed Virginia to win. He needed Virginia's pumpkin to win the contest for him to get his contract. So I don't understand about all that, because both ladies would go shop there, and rent the big machines and stuff like that. So come to find out, because he had a cut on his hand wrapped up when Pink went to interview him, ask him questions, and when the cop went, and they went together and all this kind of stuff. And so come to find out what that was, Beverly had hit him with a hoe because she was attacking him. He had went to do something with her pumpkin to destroy it. He says he didn't mean to kill her. It was kind of really like an accident. So she came up and seen him there. She grabbed a hoe and she started attacking him, and that's how he got the cut on his hand. And his last name was Featherston, Mr. Featherston, something like that. And so he shoved her back because she was attacking him. Well, when he did, she fell and her head hit the corner post of the fence, and that's what killed her. He didn't mean to. She was attacking him with a hoe, and he shoved her, but still, he hid the fact that she was dead. He actually even moved her body and put her face in her pumpkin to make it look like she fell over in her pumpkin and all of that. Well, Virginia was also keeping a secret, and there at the end she came across and bawling and squalling at the cop and Pink when they were there looking around at last. And she confessed that she actually, because they had found, not only was the pumpkin smushed in, and Beverly's head, in it, she was laying there, the pumpkin had been cut, its stem had been cut from the vine, or whatever that's called, that pumpkins grow from in the ground. So, Virginia had confessed she's the one that cut the pumpkin. She didn't kill Beverly, but she, because they actually would go to her house and interview her, ask her questions, and Pink would snoop around on her back porch and find, certain kind of seeds that she thought was suspicious that came from that place. That's how she found that shop in the other town and that man and all this kind of stuff. So anyways, she had cut the pumpkin because she wanted her, of course, her pumpkin to win and not Beverly's, but she didn't mean Beverly no harm. They was actually friends, lived there beside each other for years and years and all this kind of stuff. And then come to find out she had died. Well, in the beginning, Virginia, I guess, was scared that they'd think she'd killed her, so she was keeping all that quiet. Well, she couldn't hold it anymore, and she came across bawling and squalling and confessing. So, but they caught the killer in the end, and all is well. So that's how that book went and what it was about. And that's what this video was about, for me to tell you about that book. Now, I've went ahead and searched for my next book for on here, and y'all know what? I like to call this my phone book. I'm going to read my phone book. Ain't that cool? I'm going to pick up a phone book and read it, the list of numbers for phones. That's cool. I just thought that was cool because it's a phone and my book is on here. I'm going to read, a real book, holding a real book in here, or I'm going to go lay down in the bed at night and I'm going to read my phone book. So, I thought that was pretty cool. I like to do that. That's funny. Alright, now the next book that I have searched to read, I went ahead and searched it and found it and pulled it up and got it ready. I have not started reading it yet, of course. I'm going to do that probably tonight in bed. Let me go to it and I'll show it to y'all. Come. Let me see, is that going to... Maybe it still shows it in here. I wonder if it will. Let me see if it does. Yep, right there. Nope. It looks like it. Right here. So it's called Ashes. It's by Kelly Cozy. It says January 24th, 2013. I don't know if that's when they wrote it or what. So it's that one right there. We're going to click on it. Okay. Let's see. It's kind of a dark book, and you can't really see it. Maybe a little bit there. You can tell what the picture is about. Okay, I'm going to read this one to y'all. Okay, Anonymous. That was Jennifer's life. But when she survived a domestic terrorist attack and her last-minute escape became the iconic image of the event, that life was over, wanting only to disappear and become just another face in the crowd. She cashed in on her unwanted fame and moved to a small town hidden away and safe. That intrigues me because I love stuff where people, they have this Secret Service stuff. And if someone has actually seen a murder and seen the murderer, that murderer is going to come after them. So they can get with the Secret Service, and the Secret Service hides them, changes their name, actually changes their looks, and they're staying hid from this murderer, because the murderer is trying to find him because they know that she's seen him and stuff like that, or he, whatever. And that just, to me, that's fun stuff. I know it sounds horrible and gross, but to me, I don't know why, but I like that kind of stuff. I'm sorry, I can't help it. So anyway, it goes on to say, that was about her. So now, retired, that was Sean's life. A former covert operative, the kind the government denies exists. He'd been pushed unwillingly into a life of suburban peace and quiet. But his retirement ended when he saw Jennifer's rescue. From then on, he only wanted to find those responsible for the attack even if it meant turning rogue.